Good morning. The Secretary General and the Prime Minister will have opening remarks, and then they'll be happy to take a couple of questions. Secretary General.
So, Prime Minister Borissov, Boyko, welcome to NATO headquarters. It's great to see you here again, and it's great to meet with you because Bulgaria is contributing to NATO in many different ways and to our shared security. This year we celebrate the 15th anniversary of Bulgaria joining this alliance, and we are so grateful for your support to different NATO missions and operations, including in Afghanistan, where Bulgarian troops are helping local forces to fight international terrorism. Closer to home, you also help us in our peacekeeping mission in Kosovo, helping to stabilize the Western Balkans, which is important for all of us. You are also making essential contributions to Black Sea security, providing ships to NATO patrols in the region. So, Prime Minister, we agree on the importance of NATO presence in the Black Sea region. The security environment has changed and NATO is responding. We have strengthened our presence in the Black Sea region on land, at sea and in the air, with a multinational battle group in Craiova, air policing and a strong naval presence. We are also increasing our support to partners in the region with training for maritime forces and coast guards and more port visits and exercises. NATO's standing naval groups are training regularly with Georgia and Ukrainian ships, improving our ability to work together with them in the Black Sea region. And this year alone, allies have held 5 major exercises in the Black Sea region. To keep our people safe in a more unpredictable world, we need to invest in our defense. So I really welcome that Bulgaria is now stepping up and has increased its defense spending to more than 2% of GDP in 2019. Actually, the number is 3.25%, which is significant, and which demonstrates that Bulgaria is now among the 9 allies meeting the 2% guideline, spending more than 2% of GDP on defense. And by doing that, you are also able to invest in major and modern equipment, modern capabilities, and contributions to our missions and operations make NATO stronger, and they make Bulgaria safer. Last week, we had a NATO leaders meeting in London. We took decision to strengthen and adapt the alliance. We have increased the readiness of forces. We declared space as the 5th operational domain for NATO alongside air, land and sea and cyberspace. We agreed a new action plan to fight international terrorism, and we committed to ensuring the security of our telecommunications infrastructure, including 5G. We also had a strategic discussion on Russia, the future of arms control, and the rise of China. So as the world is changing, NATO is changing, and our ability to change is one of the main reasons why NATO is the most successful alliance in history, adapting and changing when the world is changing. So, Prime Minister, once again, welcome to NATO. It's great to see you, and I'm looking forward to continuing working with you. Please, you have the floor.
I will start. Good. Hello from me. Well, as I said at the meeting, that the good neighborly relations between Bulgaria and North Macedonia gave the opportunity to North Macedonia to become the 30th member of NATO. And this is a fact, and I told this Stoltenberg. I told him about the history from the first meetings between us when I did not, I said we cannot increase defense spending. We had to pay for the Russian nuclear reactor because we had a bank that went bust us, 3.7 billion. We had to pay for the American nuclear, for the American stations. There were, well, more than 7 or 8 billion that we had to pay back. Unfortunately, at that time I said the last thing we are going to think about is to buy armament, because the BVP of Bulgaria was increased, because our economy started working many times better. We allowed ourselves to give money for the armed money, not to increase by 10% the salaries of the military personnel, and to revive again the military school for pilots. But we bought the best jets in Central and Eastern Europe. It's F-16 Block 70. We bought these jets so we can meet all NATO standards. Several years ago, the Parliament ratified the purchase of 2 minesweepers from the Netherlands. We're using the following agenda. I spoke to colleague Stoltenberg and I asked him, and Admiral Commanding of Harry Trull, Norway is giving away to giving submarines, decommissioning it. We would like to buy submarines from Norway. You know that we had just 1 submarine and now it's in the museum. So if our economy develops and if our budget has developed so well, we are going to modernize the Bulgarian armed forces, not only in the Air Force, where we have about 19% of the budget goes to the Air Force. We have Cougars, we have Panthers, we have Spartan aircraft, but we have to pay attention to our Navy. Well, we are going to buy 2 multifunctional naval vessels, patrol vessels, and we are going to work for the land forces. Our special operation forces are one of the best. This is our pride. Here I would like to thank as Bulgarians and to express our admiration for all our allies, for the exceptional professionalism of the Bulgarian officers and soldiers who are on missions in the world. They contribute. Bulgaria is one of the most reliable allies, not only in the region, but in NATO. Because I can see Bulgarian Admiral Petov, the commander of Harry Truman gave me 10 times regards for Admiral Petov, remembering about the Bulgarian officers, Bulgarian soldiers. So this Admiral could be very good, and is very good for Bulgaria. For a year and a half we are working on the industrial cooperation. We had many investors. We took these investors to terrain plants, military terrain plants in Târgoviște, and we showed the enormous capabilities that Bulgaria has with respect to industrial production, following licenses or our own production. We have scientific institutes. In the scientific institutes, we produce very high precision armament and equipment. So I told my colleague Stoltenberg, if our economy develops in this way, if we have this budget, we, apart from education and healthcare infrastructure, we are going to allocate additional budget for the military use for land forces, navy and army. Thank you again for this exceptional high assessment. This high assessment was given to us in Washington by USA, and I think that in our region NATO is the only warrant for the security. I'm not going to comment about our neighbors on NATO, of our neighboring countries, because On the left is Crimea, there is Istanbul, and our back is Kosovo. So you see, the principle on which I want and I keep is the principle that I share, and Stoltenberg shares this. Well, deterrence and defense. This is what we do in order to be strong and to stop and deter all desires that are against our territories and our alliance. Second, dialogue with Russia. This is why I work actively for the nuclear power station and for the Balkan Stream. Well, the United States knows this, the European Union knows this too. This is nothing hidden, nothing mysterious. So Bulgaria can play key role in the region, in the Black Sea region. So I hope that the agreement signed with Trump for the coordination center in Varna is something very good. Thank you so much.
Okay, we have time for 2 questions. Bulgarian TV.
Mr. Stoltenberg, Bulgarian Public Television. The Prime Minister mentioned the coordination center in Varna. Did you discuss this? Could you tell us more detail about it? And when this center will be operational?
Yes, we discussed this center, and of course I take note of the Bulgarian offer to host the Center for Maritime Coordination in the Black Sea. Currently, this coordination function is located to the NATO headquarters, maritime headquarters in the United Kingdom. What we really appreciate is the strong commitment of Bulgaria and the strong focus of Bulgaria on Black Sea security, and also the different ways Bulgaria contributes to Black Sea security, also by investing in new high-end capabilities, planes, but also naval capabilities. And of course, NATO as an alliance has stepped up our presence in the Black Sea region, in the air, on land, but also at sea, with also more naval exercises. So this is an issue which is addressed in NATO, but as I said, currently this function is located at NATO's naval command in the United Kingdom. Let me also add that we also, as the Prime Minister mentioned, as Prime Minister Borisov mentioned, we also addressed the fact that North Macedonia will soon become the 30th member of our alliance. And I thanked Prime Minister Borisov for the strong support from Bulgaria and the friendship agreement that made it possible to invite and to also reach agreement between Greece and North Macedonia on the name issue. So that has been extremely important, and it demonstrates Bulgaria's strong commitment to also stability in the region.
Bulgarian TV, Bulgarian News Agency.
Да, само мога да добавя. Ние не се натискаме за координационен център.
We are not pressing for the coordination center. We have coordination function too. We have 5 exercises. I have always been against the fleet in Black Sea. The role of this coordination center is deterrence role. When there are 2 strong signs, where there is deterrence, the sailboats can fly. I am going to press on this, focus on this. We agreed on to have coordination center in Bulgaria.
Bulgarian News Agency, please, the gentleman.
Bulgarian television, Nova. Question for Secretary General. I know Turkey is a very important member of NATO, but with the recent declaration we heard from Turkey, maybe we put some question if it's still liable partner. In this perspective, could Bulgaria be more reliable partner and have more geostrategic role in the region?
In NATO, we have 29 reliable allies, and soon we will be 30 reliable allies, because the strength of NATO is that we defend each other, we stand together, and as long as we stand together, we are all safe and secure. There are differences between allies. We are 29 different nations with different history, different geography from both sides of the Atlantic, with different political parties in charge. And there has been differences and disagreements between NATO allies before. But the strength of NATO is that despite these differences, we have always been able to unite around our core task to protect and defend each other. And that's exactly what we see today. Because despite disagreements on trade and climate change or the military situation in northeast Syria, we are actually doing more together as allies than we have done for decades. More exercises, more training, more investment in our shared security by European allies. And also the United States is actually increasing their military presence in Europe. So yes, there are differences, but we have been able and we are able to overcome them. Turkey is an important ally and an important ally for several reasons. Not least has Turkey and is Turkey important in the fight against terrorism. Turkey bordering Iraq and Syria has been extremely important in our fight against ISIS, Daesh. And Turkey hosts 3.6 million Syrian refugees. So when we deal with the migrant and refugee crisis, of course, to work with Turkey is essential.
Bulgaria has never wanted to be more important than some other country. We had time with Mr. Stoltenberg to speak about the region. He knows very well Serbia, he knows Turkey very well. He was Prime Minister of Norwegian, he has very rich experience. We cannot substitute Turkey. Turkey keeps the straits. Geostrategically, Turkey has the situation on two continents, and it stops. And it is the most unstable region, Syria, this fight against ISIS. Nobody can substitute Turkey. Yes, Bulgaria, its geostrategic situation. Bulgaria has its tasks and roles and functions. We have been the southern flank of the Warsaw Pact, unfortunately. And Turkey was our adversary, our enemy. And instead of giving money for healthcare, for roads, for infrastructure, we had only 30 kilometers very good highway. We had 4,900 tanks. We had many fighter aircrafts. I believe that diplomacy and peace, although we are in the strongest alliance, NATO, our goal is the peace. If there is war, I don't know if there's going to be a winner. That's when we begin that in deterrence and in the strength is the role of our NATO. I spoke about the Russian fleet in Crimea and also the fleet of Turkey. What is the task? What is the task? Can you imagine how many ships, how many jets we have to have in order to stop the Russian and the Turkish army? Well, this is the reason why infrastructure plan, the diplomacy, peace, deterrence, the reliability of our partners, to look for the reason why the situation has come to Bulgaria. Bulgaria has 0 illegal immigrants, and Turkey keeps its agreement with us not to let illegal immigrants. We do not have one single break and no single immigrant from Turkey. We do not We do not have any sanctions against Turkey. Well, it is, and Mr. Stoltenberg said that it is not right to make military sanctions against Turkey because Turkey is going to buy armament from other sources, from Russia. That's why we spoke about partnership in producing, in assembling equipment, in maintaining equipment, so that all countries are committed. We are doing this from 1.5 years already. These issues are very good, so that we can say what our opinion is. We have worked in diplomacy to try to restore the dialogue with these countries. I am so small to give any advice to the Congress of the United States or to whatever, but Bulgaria is in a very vulnerable place. We have suffered for hundreds of years, so I put diplomacy in the first place, and the only reliable partner for Bulgaria is collective alliance NATO. No matter what the assessment of my colleagues may give us from other parties, I am sure that NATO is the only guarantor for security in Bulgaria, because we have lost